Hello, Wildlings. Colin Stuckert here, founder, CEO of Wild Foods Co. I got my notebook, my trusty Rodea notebook. These things are awesome. This is actually a dotted book, and today's video is going to be about some ideas on how to plan for the new year. Okay, so for 2019, I'm recording this on the last day of 2018. Wow, last day. Cool. This, I like to talk about my life goals, use it as like a scratch pad. Every day that I start my day, I have 5 minutes where I review my goals, review my priorities, kind of map out what I'm gonna get done for the day. And this is kind of a newer habit that I've developed. I wasn't always really good at this, but after reading The One Thing, after watching a lot of Sam Oven stuff, I've just kind of really laser focused on the idea of being laser focused and of doing less things. And, you know, as the CEO of a company, there's a million things I could be doing. Every day I wake up, I could, edit the website. I could write an article. I could record a video. I could, review some of the content we have and repurpose it so that it could be posted to Instagram, to YouTube, whatever. There's just a million things that I could be doing. And a lot of those things aren't very high value because I'm the only CEO in the company. I'm the only person that can think of some of the bigger things and do the bigger things. I have to make sure that I'm really spending as much time as I can on those bigger things and kind of letting the rest of the stuff either be delegated or just not doing them at all. And so Warren Buffett's big on this. Like, he has this analogy of if you were to start your investing adult life and you're given 10 punch cards, if you knew that you could only make 10 investment decisions your entire life and you would never be able to make a decision again, you would make much better investment decisions and you would be a lot more hesitant to make a decision. So it would be more vetted. It wouldn't be emotional. You wouldn't get caught up in the highs and lows of the stock market and like all the nonsense that goes on with that. For most part, the stock market wouldn't matter to you on an up and down basis. You would be thinking about big decisions, big investments, and then you would make that decision regardless of what the economy is doing. And so I think that's a really important lesson to just all aspects of life. There's always the 80-20, the Pareto's principle, which shows that, 80% of your results come from 20% of your effort. And so, but the hard part is figuring out like what that 20% effort is. Sometimes, like making a subtle tweak here and there is like not super valuable, but sometimes you should be making those tweaks. So it's really hard to kind of balance what you should be working on, what's going to be your 80-20, etc. Like if you don't have a business or whatever that, has some obvious things that you should be doing or focusing on, like even just for your life, it might get hard to kind of understand for yourself what is your 80-20 and what should you be focusing on. And so that's why like having a journal, putting your goals down, using it as also like a scratch pad for ideas and possible things you could do. Like I write down tons and tons of ideas, but then what I do is I like to actually go back over them and kind of cross ones out or move ones to like my later area, which I have in Asana, which is the app I use, which is an amazing app, by the way, I have a later section that when I put something in that later section, I don't touch it. It goes to the later section and it's just there. And, like maybe I'll get to it later, but I don't want it in my mind. I don't want it in my subconscious. Basically put it into like storage, right? Every so often I'll go into storage, into the later area, and I'll kind of scan through my list and just say, okay, that's probably something we should do right now, or no, that can be held for later. Super valuable, guys. Like sometimes you need a do not do list, which is basically what that later list is. So anytime something goes into my do not do list, I don't have to worry about it. I don't touch it. It doesn't cause me any mental strain or fatigue. It doesn't make me feel overwhelmed. I have a lot of things to do. Nothing. In your life, you should be trying to get as many things as possible into your do not do list so you can focus on the big 80-20s. The advice, the point of this video would be to get a notebook and to build a 5 minutes a day practice, ideally in the morning when you review, either review the day before and the progress you made, review the day ahead, plan for the week ahead, the month ahead, even review the month before, the week before, and just do things to kind of let your subconscious go from kind of here to paper, and which itself is very therapeutic and very useful. And then just constantly review what you're writing and review the things you wrote the day before, a week before, a month before, and see how you think about it now. Because there's sometimes things I put down that, I might have written a couple weeks ago that seemed very important, and then I read it now and I'm like, oh, that's so obvious that I should not be doing that right now, right? Or that thing is still on my list and I still need to do it, and it's been there for 2 weeks, so that's a sign I should probably just tackle this thing and get it off the list. This is obviously very business related. If you're an entrepreneur or trying to accomplish anything, like you need some kind of system, and these are things that entrepreneurs have to think about. You have to think about how you're spending your time, how you're focusing it, because there's no boss telling you what to do. You have to manage yourself. That is one thing, that's business. But for you, for every person, you're the CEO of your life. You have to manage your life, your health, your happiness, your finances, okay, your relationships. This habit is something we all have to do. We all need to be as aware as possible of the things that really matter to us and where we're going. If you don't know the port you're going to and you're sailing a ship, no wind is favorable. And that's a Seneca quote. I totally botched it, right? I'm paraphrasing. If you don't have a map, then how do you know where you're going? Or even if you have a destination, but you don't really have a map that tells you how to kind of go about the terrain or whatever to get there, it's the same thing. You're just wandering around aimlessly. And so many people wander around aimlessly in their personal lives and in their professional lives. And when you can get a habit for either or, right, you can then work on the other one. So like if you're really good at your professional life and you're really getting results and you're solid, you have plans, you review your stuff and you say no to things, well, do the same thing in your personal life. Like you can't say yes to every time your friends want to go out and drink or whatever. You can't say yes to every invitation you get, every event, whatever. That's true professionally and it's true personally. You have to pick and choose. And the thing that helps you most pick and choose is to really understand what you're trying to accomplish. So trying to understand where you're going and having some kind of roadmap, some kind of step-by-step towards doing that thing. And then even further down, what I like to do is the way to kind of accomplish all these things is you have to have solid habits. Like you have to have solid routines, which is why you have to have a deep work routine, ideally like a morning routine, maybe like a family routine. Like you want to have times of your day and of your weeks and months when you get certain things done. And the better you can stick to that routine, let like the times outside of that routine be the times you go out with friends or do whatever. You want to have flexibility because we all want to enjoy life. But in general, if you have a deep work routine every day from 12 to 2 p.m. or like 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. or whatever it is, then don't deviate from that. If someone asks you to do something at that time, you're not available. And this is something that as a CEO of a company, I've struggled with feeling kind of bad or feeling like obliged to do certain things. But when I started really thinking about it, like, how is my time best used? What's going to give me the best ROI? Is it going to be like going to our warehouse every day just to make sure I have FaceTime? Or is it going to be kind of delegating and managing and putting systems in place so that I can stay in the one place I need to be, either that's home or at the office or whatever, and get that work done? Which one of those are going to be the most beneficial in the long term? And what I figured out, what I made decisions around is staying in less places, driving less, commuting less, and just focusing on getting the work done. And since I started implementing that, my output is probably quadrupled. Well, guys, that was just some of my musings on kind of keeping, I guess, like a daily review log, a journal log, a goals log, and just making a point to spend time to think about and let your subconscious really think about where you're going, where you're at, where you've been, right? Most people just kind of float through life responding to things. They're like a pinball game, the pinball game of life. And a lot of people don't take the time to just think. Give yourself time to think, and also give yourself time to not think, which is what meditation and mindfulness comes in and how useful that can be, because what that can actually do is let your subconscious kind of think below the surface without you actually consciously thinking about it. My name is Colin Stuckert, and I approve this message. Make sure you slap the subscribe and like the thumbs up button, or smash the thumbs up. If you want more videos on any of these similar topics or other topics, please let me know. Drop a comment below and I'll get to it. And thanks for watching. Get to it.